Most people prepare topics to ask their future boss when they interview, but not enough people prepare questions to ask their future team. And then on top of that, not enough people go after it and request it and make those conversations happen, but I think you should. Today, we're going to cover 9 questions that I would recommend you asking members of your future team during your interview process. So in a lot of my past videos, I spent time talking about questions you need to ask as a candidate during your interview process. So if you've seen those videos, it'll be no surprise to you that I think it's a critically important aspect of succeeding as a candidate. But today, I want to talk about questions specifically designed to ask members of your future team. You know, assuming you were to get the job, these are the people you're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis, and they have a ton of information that you, as a candidate, should want to get. So I've talked about this several times, but it's not always going to be included in the interview process where you actually get a chance to converse with your future team, but I would always seek it out. You know, if you're getting deep into a process with a company and, you think you're getting close to the point of offer, I'd say to them, one of the things that I like to do when I consider making a move for a new opportunity is talk to members of my future team. It's pretty important to me. Can you facilitate that, or how can we go about making that happen? If they say no, I would be concerned. If it's a good place to work, if it's a good boss, if it's a good environment, what reason, what motivation would they have for saying no? They should say yes. And when they do, here are a bunch of questions that you can ask that team. Again, if they say no, I see it as a red flag. And if they say yes, then congratulations, you're about to get a lot of great information. All right, so the first question. How would you describe the boss's leadership style? Now, you can ask this to the boss or the person or your future boss. I'd recommend asking it, but I'd ask it again. It's actually more valuable if you can ask it both to the hiring manager and members of their team, because then you can look for consistency there. What if this person says they're a servant leader, and what if the people that they manage go, this person's real direct, there's a lot of really direct, harsh communication, he expects a lot out of us, etc. Those don't add up. There's a misalignment there. That'd be problematic. But even if you don't get a chance to ask the hiring manager, you still want to ask this to your future teammates, because they're going to give you a pretty honest, candid view on how this person leads. So I'd always ask it just about every single time. Next question. What opportunities have you been given to advance your career since you started working for this organization? If they say nothing, that's obviously a bad thing. If they go, they provide us training, opportunities, resources, etc., that is huge. So I would always make sure to ask that question. The next one, how are big departmental decisions made at this organization? This is a question you ask because you want to understand, are you going to be a part of the decision-making process? Will you have a voice, or do they make changes and cascade them down? This may or may not be important to you. It's important to me. But I just want to know how decisions are made and how they're rolled out. And asking this question is going to get you that information. The next thing, how are setbacks or missing goals handled in this organization? So inevitably, you're going to fall short in certain goals. That's going to happen. But how is it handled? How does the manager handle it? How does the organization handle it? Obviously, I don't even know if I need to go into that, but that's huge, right? How they respond to that, how they react, that's going to tell you a lot about the organization. Next question, why do you stay working for this company? I love asking this question. I ask it to just about everybody I meet during every single interview process. I want to know why they stay. We all have the opportunity to quit a job. We could all today say I quit and walk away. We'd have bills, there'd be ramifications, but we could all do it. Why do they stay? Why do they not take their talents elsewhere? I find the answers to be extremely eye-opening. The next question. What's the most challenging part of your job? I always ask this question too, especially if it's the same role, right? Like, just say you're a software developer and you're talking to 3 or 4 other software developers. The hardest part of their job is going to be the hardest part of your job. So I'd always ask. The next thing, would you say the company culture here is something that guides decision making, or is it more just a general group of words that you try and live when it makes sense? And you can kind of make that your own. I know that's a little bit of a wordy question, but what are you getting at there? You're getting at, does your culture mean something to your organization, or do you have a culture because right now that's what you're supposed to do. As an organization, you have to have a culture. It's important. So here are 4 or 5 words. There's a big difference between living your values and choosing a few words that you think sound nice and gonna make it easy for you to find candidates. All right, next questions. Are opportunities in this department allocated fairly? It's a big one. I would only probably ask this if I was talking to one person at a time. You know, you could probably do it to a group, but it might get a bit awkward. But it's an important question because you're gonna be talking to people, and that's a straightforward question. That is a question where it's either gonna be, oh yeah, I think it is fair, or there's gonna be some people answering who might have some hurt feelings because perhaps they weren't given the same opportunities as some of their contemporaries. That being said, it is a worthwhile question. Last one. Do you feel like your concerns are heard and addressed adequately? This one's awesome, right? Because if they say yes, I feel like I'm heard, and when I have a concern, it's addressed. You have to feel great about that. But if you see there's some hesitating, or even more specifically, they say, no, not really, and they detail a concern, not only do you learn about a concern, but you learn about the response from the organization. That's huge. That's a thing you don't always get, but if you ask that question, you will get it. So there you have it. Those are 9 questions that I would personally advocate asking members of your future team when you're in the interview process. The nice thing about asking members of their future team is I tend to find they are extremely honest. You know, they don't have a horse in the race. You know, a hiring manager might go, man, I really need to hire another member of my team. I'm gonna try to sell this opportunity. And quite frankly, they should. They shouldn't lie, but they should sell the upside of an organization. It's part of hiring. But when you're talking to people who are on your future team, they're people who are being looped into the process and often are just, you know, giving their take. And as a result, they're going to be extremely candid with you, and you should absolutely take advantage of that. Well, there you have it. Those are my 9 tips. You know, if you have any questions, please feel free to like and leave it below in the comments, and I'll make sure I answer them. If you're seeing this on YouTube, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video that comes out. Thanks, and have an awesome day.